The manhwa opens by showing us the final line of defense for the grandest kingdom, known as Endeavor Stronghold. The kingdom has been overrun by orcs, and this battle represents their last stand against the invaders. Humans, filled with determination, unleash their battle cry and charge headlong into the orc forces. The orcs, too, respond with their battle cry, and Deputy Commander Filion Endeavor of the Stronghold notices that the orcs have entered a berserk state. Filion realizes that it's only a matter of time before the south gate falls, and he contemplates the challenge posed by the overwhelming numbers of orcs. However, he knows that the true threat will emerge when the Orc Lord joins the battle. Unlike previous Orc Lords, this one possesses unique abilities as an aura master, capable of using special aura skills. The humans gradually lose ground and fall victim to the relentless orc onslaught. The orcs breach the castle walls, and the humans find themselves on the brink of defeat. But when all seems lost, the humans witness a strange phenomenon. A blue aura surrounds the fallen corpses, which inexplicably rise and launch an assault against the orcs. The humans realize that a necromancer is among them, but they question why a necromancer would assist their cause. Amidst the chaotic clash between the reanimated corpses and the orcs, a man with green hair and a robe approaches the battlefield, accompanied by a swirling ball of purple energy. He explains the futility of defeating the Orc Lord with ordinary corpses, given the Lord's status as an aura master. Summoning his undead companions from a purple portal, he commands them to engage the orcs. Unusual for necromancers, he exhibits remarkable swordsmanship, slashing through countless orc foes. The humans are astonished by this turn of events. The necromancer single-handedly turns the tide of battle, despite the Empire's prohibition on black magic. The Orc Lord, undeterred, speaks with defiance, acknowledging the power of the corpses but warning the necromancer that he cannot defeat him. Dismissing the Orc Lord's words, the necromancer proclaims his satisfaction and reflects on finally finding a suitable body, suggesting the Orc Lord's potential as a companion. They clash in combat, with the necromancer attempting to strike the Orc Lord but being countered and wounded in the process. However, the necromancer seemingly disappears like an afterimage, only to reappear moments later on the ground. Reacting swiftly, the Orc Lord swings his sword, but the necromancer summons a pile of skeletons to block the attack. In this momentary impasse, the necromancer contemplates his need to grow stronger for his own survival, the protection of those dear to him, and to continue living as Andreas Cromwell. A new sequence begins, taking us back in time to Rodland Academy, the Empire's most prestigious institution for nurturing promising individuals. Within an underground secret lair, a man calls out to Andreas, asking if this is the place he mentioned. We are introduced to the story's protagonist, Andreas Cromwell, who apologizes to the old man. They are both researchers of forbidden black magic, necromancers, conducting their experiments clandestinely due to the Empire's prohibition. Placing a corpse in a blood-drawn magic circle, they attempt to revive it. However, the experiment fails, and the corpse disintegrates. The old man takes notes on the unsuccessful endeavor and instructs Andreas to clean up before leaving. Andreas ponders the lack of knowledge gained from their experiments but acknowledges that this secret place allows him to access books on black magic, something he couldn't find elsewhere. After completing the cleanup, Andreas returns to the old man and apologizes for the delay. The old man expresses his concern over Andreas' slow progress, pointing out that if he can't even handle basic tasks efficiently, he won't be trusted with more significant responsibilities. Andreas reflects on his lack of guidance, feeling he must learn independently. The old man acknowledges Andreas' potential but emphasizes that he must continually prove his worth. Failure is not an option. Determined, Andreas assures the old man of his commitment to do his best. The old man grants him another chance, assigning him a mission to retrieve a body from the Binhalez National Graveyard. Reminding Andreas of his orphan status and how he took him in, the old man warns of dire consequences if he fails, implying he would become another experimental subject. Andreas contemplates the repercussions of failure and exits the room. As he leaves, other students in the academy observe Andreas with disgust. He brushes them off, asserting that he is not an object of spectacle and demanding they get out of his way. He laments his current situation and the absence of a clear path to escape it. The narrative then shifts to Andreas' past as a former Special Forces soldier struggling to adapt to civilian life. Discovering solace in a game called Great Sin, he becomes completely absorbed in it. However, a mysterious caller contacts him, knowledgeable about his gaming habits. Startled, Andreas abruptly shuts down the computer and finds himself inexplicably transported into the game world, assuming the character of Andreas Cromwell, a despised figure, a third-rate villain, and an outcast destined to perish alongside his mentor Sharon in the main storyline of the game. Determined to avoid this fate, Andreas seeks to distance himself from Sharon before the events of the game unfold. While casually strolling around the campus, the MC ponders on the path to survival and realizes that getting stronger is the only logical answer. However, at present, the MC can only rely on the 2 special traits acquired from playing the game for 3 weeks. One is the random dual core trait, allowing proficiency in both magic and swordsmanship. Yet, the MC doubts that focusing on just one of these skills will be sufficient for survival. The other trait was of the MC's choosing, access to a system only visible to them. After some consideration, the MC selects the evolution trait, which enables the adaptation of living creatures to reach higher levels. Although unfamiliar with this trait, the MC believes it will help them surpass the castle walls and envisions a promising future. Determined to survive and complete the game as Andreas, the MC heads to the Maple Leaf Dormitory at Rodland Academy the next day. While preparing to depart for the graveyard, the MC decides to visit the underground research room. Aware of the urgency to grow stronger quickly, not only due to the impending event of the main characters discovering them but also because of other potentially lethal characters like Sharon, the MC resolves not to waste time. Inside the research room, the MC reads black magic books with ominous titles, realizing that being caught with them would lead to instant death. Additionally, the MC notices another potential danger in the form of a locked cell housing a red-haired vampire girl, a formidable mid-game boss capable of wielding powerful magic. The MC contemplates the vampire's capabilities and their offer to kill Sharon in exchange for release. Although tempted, the MC considers the risks of trusting a being with superior power and leaves the vampire, aware of the potential complications that could arise from betraying their teacher. Arriving at the graveyard via train, the MC reflects on the encounter with the vampire and finds it tempting but also perceives it as a possible opportunity. The vampire proposed eliminating Sharon, addressing the MC's fear of Sharon potentially killing them in the future. The vampire's astute observation surprises the MC, who responds cautiously, pointing out that releasing her offers no guarantee of safety. The vampire solemnly swears not to harm the MC, but their pale words fail to sway the MC, who understands the unreliability of promises made by powerful beings. The MC promises to consider the offer, recognizing the potential danger in releasing the vampire prematurely, and continues their journey, carrying a large bag. At the graveyard's entrance, the MC utters a secret passcode to the gatekeeper, who verifies its authenticity and allows them entry. The MC procures the corpse of a knight from a person they encounter within the graveyard, loading it into their bag. As they prepare to leave, the MC's attention is drawn to a name inscribed on a gravestone, triggering a sense of familiarity. Realizing it belongs to the Aura Master Nickel Lifehill, an Easter egg in the game, the MC laments the enigmatic inclusion of this character. Nobody presently knows that Nickel had become an Aura Master, and the MC contemplates the potential of creating a Death Knight using Nickel's body. This, in turn, would allow the MC to utilize their evolution trait to evolve the Death Knight further. To achieve this, the MC needs a capable corpse with latent abilities. Approaching Mr. Paimon, the supplier of the corpses, the MC calls out his name. However, Paimon expresses hesitation in providing another body without Karen's permission. In a bid to persuade Paimon, the MC offers their Count Crest embossed ring, the only valuable possession he possesses, emphasizing the importance of results to a mage. Finally convinced, Paimon agrees to exchange the body for the ring, with the condition that the MC keeps the exchange secret from Sharon. Packing the corpse, the MC contemplates the beginning of the future he envisioned and their eagerness to commence necromancer training. Returning to the underground research room with the corpse, the MC encounters Sharon, who acknowledges the usability of the body and assigns the MC to handle the reagents during their absence. As Sharon departs, the MC acknowledges their swift orders and the need to complete the task promptly to commence their studies. He questions whether it's possible to utilize Nickel's body with his current skill level, considering their current limitation to working with skeletons. Experimenting on another body is not feasible due to financial constraints. Lost in thought, the MC is startled by the sound of chains and the vampire's voice, questioning their indecisiveness. The MC turns toward the vampire's cell and expresses surprise at her wakefulness. The vampire pleads with the MC to make a choice, warning that she will kill them if released. However, she retreats to a corner upon the MC's silence, reflecting on how she always wondered why Sharon had a hold on the MC, finally understanding the answer. The vampire urges the MC to decide and threatens to kill them even if released. Finally, the MC relents, offering to release the vampire on the condition that she swears on the name of her family not to kill them. Aware that vampires cannot break oaths made on their family's name, the MC secures their safety. As the vampire pledges on the name of Lucifer, a notification from the system appears, indicating that the conditions for an evolvable specimen have been met. The screen displays a 55% probability of Angela Lucifer's evolution. Shocked that the trait could be activated by a simple oath, the MC delves into the details of the evolution trait and accepts the opportunity to test it on the vampire before applying it to Nickel. Instantly, the vampire experiences a surge of pain and ultimately loses consciousness. Witnessing the vampire's condition, the MC is perplexed and calls out to her, but receives no response. Uncertain if he succeeded or not, the MC notes that he has learned something new about the trait. It has the potential to evolve entities beyond his direct summons, including himself. With this knowledge, the MC proceeds with the plan to summon Nickel immediately. Placing Nickel's body on the ground, the MC channels his power to initiate the summoning process. The body is enveloped in a blue light, and after some struggle and a significant amount of mana expenditure, a system notification confirms the successful summoning. The summoned skeleton is classified as legendary, having transformed into a skeleton soldier due to the high level of the corpse. Furthermore, as the corpse level is transcendent, the skeleton retains some of its past self's consciousness. The MC observes the summoned skeleton's stats, revealing two traits, a sense of self and mastery in swordsmanship, showcasing Nickel's previous expertise as a sword master. The MC expresses gratitude to Nickel, who responds by making the OK gesture with his fingers. Back in the MC's room, the realization sets in that there is still a year before Karen's death, and there is much the MC must accomplish to survive. For the time being, the MC decides to release Nickel in his room. Concerned about the potential consequences of being seen with a skeleton in his room, the MC dresses Nickel in clothes before allowing him to train. Nickel assumes a sword-holding stance and starts practicing swordsmanship by slashing at the air. The MC acknowledges that the description in the Easter egg was accurate, highlighting how Nickel died while training. This realization presents an opportunity for the MC to cultivate his other traits. He asks Nickel to teach him swordsmanship, and the training begins. During the training, the MC notices the creaking of Nickel's bones and compares having a skilled or a master as a teacher to having an incredible role model. If taught correctly, the MC, with the dual-core trait, could become a magic swordsman capable of using both aura and mana interchangeably. Though the journey may be challenging, the MC believes that once he overcomes the initial stages, he will surpass everyone else, much like the great Emperor Edmund, the founder of the Empire. In the midst of his thoughts, Nickel pinches the MC's arm, urging him to focus. Surprised by the strength in the skeletal grip, the MC reflects on his previous life as a member of the Special Forces, realizing that physical training was easier due to his former strong body. However, with his current weakened body, the MC acknowledges the need for lessons in fortitude. After the training session, the MC sits at his table and regrets skipping class for the day, releasing Nickel in the process. Curious about the progress of his necromancy skill, the MC checks the system and discovers that it has increased by 2 points within just 5 hours. While impressed by the rapid growth, the MC anticipates slower progression as his levels increase. Additionally, the MC notices that Sharon hasn't called for him in a while and deduces that the vampire's appearance remains the same, indicating that Sharon likely remains unaware of the MC's actions. Contemplating the lengthy evolution process, the MC is interrupted by the sound of Nickel's training. The MC realizes that Nickel, being undead, does not tire and ponders how beneficial it would be to have a potion that allowed him to train while continuously healing. However, due to financial constraints, acquiring a significant quantity of potions is unlikely unless he learns to make them himself. The MC recalls the game's potion recipe but lacks knowledge of specific ratios, leading him to consider attending classes to expand his understanding. As he enters the potion class, the entire room gazes at the MC, with some assuming he is there to flirt with girls. The MC endures the gossip and insults, continuing toward his seat, where a girl takes notice of him. Once the lecture arrives, the class commences, and the MC impatiently awaits the professor's explanation of mixing ratios. As the professor discusses the creation of a physical reinforcement potion, the MC realizes that the ingredients mentioned do not match his knowledge of potion making. Standing up, he questions the professor about omitting pishy extract and matarata root bark. The room stares at the MC as if he were foolish, and the professor dismisses his suggestion, stating that those ingredients are unnecessary and instructing him to make soup if he wishes to add them. Baffled by the response, the MC deduces that the method he mentioned has not yet been discovered in this time. As the class ends, the MC reflects on attending the class, realizing that his existing knowledge surpasses what he learned. Consequently, the MC decides that self-study is a more suitable option. Throughout this, the same girl who noticed him earlier continues to watch him. At the research department, the MC attempts to brew a potion but receives a failure notification from the system. Frustrated, the MC realizes that even though he knows the recipe, he lacks a reliable method and underestimated the cost of materials. He fears going broke if he continues to fail. While pondering this, a girl enters the room and recognizes the MC as Senior Andreas. The MC is shocked by her presence and recalls that she is Lucia Everlast, a genius at potion brewing and one of the playable characters in the game. He wonders why she would be near him and contemplates avoiding her to prevent any potential danger in the future. However, Lucia persists and asks about his experiment. The MC coldly replies that it's a secret. Annoyed by his attitude, Lucia remarks that he seems bitter but assures him that she doesn't expect anything from him. She extends a proposal to study together, stating that she believes he has the talent to create remarkable things. She looks forward to his creation of medicines that do not exist in their world yet. The MC recalls Lucia's character description in the game, a person suffering from an incurable illness, which motivated her to study medicine. Although the MC knows the cure from the game, he is unaware of the exact ratio required. However, he reasons that involving himself with Lucia would be dangerous, as she could potentially kill him if she discovered his true identity as a necromancer. Thus, the MC rejects her proposal. Undeterred, Lucia utters the words, "Peona mushroom," surprising the MC, as it is the main ingredient needed for the potion. She claims to have known intuitively and offers to help him if he accepts her offer. The MC responds by suggesting that she leaves since she has accomplished what she came for. As Lucia departs, she glances back and tells him that she will give him time to reconsider, believing he will change his mind. After Lucia's departure, the MC concludes that he doesn't need to think about it, as the risk is too high. He resumes practicing swordsmanship with Nickel in his room and acknowledges the need to find a way to make money. While strolling on the campus grounds, the MC contemplates asking his sister for money, but he realizes that resorting to her would be no different from Andrea's actions. Deep in thought, he is noticed by a girl, Diane Alvin, a genius magician and the young lady of the Alvin family. The MC remembers their past friendship, which faded due to the Cromwell family's financial troubles and Andrea's subsequent misdeeds. He believes that Diane would likely kill him if he were to talk. Accepting that asking his sister is the only option, the MC heads to a restaurant in the capital city Roland at night. He meets his sister, Amy Cromwell, who works at the restaurant due to their family's financial situation. Amy expresses her concern for him, mentioning that he never responds to her letters. The MC apologizes for causing her to work despite being the lady of accounts household. Amy reassures him that it's not his fault and reveals that she has prepared some money for him, handing him an envelope. Grateful, the MC promises to pay her back, but as he reaches for the envelope, Amy realizes that he isn't wearing his ring. She questions him, and the MC responds by saying he took it off to avoid losing it. However, Amy sees through his lie, knowing her brother too well. Disappointed, she tells him to leave and that she doesn't want to see him anymore. As the MC tries to apologize again, Amy storms out, declaring that he shouldn't come near her and that he no longer needs to repay her. Alone in the room, the MC laments the importance of the ring to his sister and the misery he feels. He realizes that life loses meaning when one merely exists and reflects on his past struggles. Determined to change his circumstances, the MC resolves to retrieve the ring as soon as possible and accepts Lucia's offer. The MC returns to the campus and starts working with Lucia. Over the course of a week, the MC is primarily responsible for the work, while Lucia occasionally assists to speed up the process. On this particular day, the MC is once again doing most of the work, prompting Lucia to suggest adjusting the quantities of certain materials. The MC admires Lucia's intuition and problem-solving skills. He continues working, and eventually, a notification pops up, indicating that the MC successfully manufactured an intermediary-grade physical reinforcement potion. Excited, the MC laughs, startling Lucia from her sleep. When she asks what happened, the MC happily informs her that it worked. The MC also receives a notification about acquiring a new talent, potion brewing, and the possibility of evolving this talent with a 32% probability. Recognizing that the probability is lower than that of the vampire's evolution, the MC decides to save it for later. Lucia tests the potion and remarks on its suitability for daily use, suggesting they quickly make a request to the potion committee. The MC suggests that Lucia handles that part since he has done most of the work thus far. In the underground research room, Angela the vampire remains asleep in her cell, experiencing intense pain throughout her body. Meanwhile, a train carries students to the midterm evaluation site. The MC, lost in thought, reflects on Lucia's probable success in the first examination and the upcoming challenges in the Magic Tower. The MC also contemplates the progress of the evolving vampire, planning to check on it after finishing the exam since the evolution is almost complete. As the MC ponders, two girls sitting across from him discuss the exam. Diane and her friend talk about the randomness of group assignments and the potential ease or difficulty of the exam. Diane mentions that it shouldn't matter who she is paired with, including someone like the MC, Andreas. Upon reaching their destination, the professor explains the examination format, a group task with random members. Each group consists of 3 students from the warrior department, 1 from the magic department, and a supervisor. The groups have until Monday to complete the task. The MC feels nervous about his group, realizing that there are numerous villains besides himself and Sharon in the academy, and 2 of them, Hazar Gapri, a cult fanatic, and Vivian Belkin, the academy's indiscriminating murderer, are in his group. The MC considers his luck to be just as bad as that of a trashy character. During another train ride to the quest site, the supervisor, Ivy Claire, formally introduces herself. She shows the group the request form, explaining that they are to investigate a village in Baron Balaric's territory. The village, Thrym, is rumored to have had its landlord murdered, and an investigator who was sent 2 weeks ago has also gone missing. Thus, the group is dispatched to investigate the case. The MC recognizes Ivy Claire from the game, but notes that apart from becoming the youngest Aura Master, not much information is known about her character. While her skills seem impressive, her personality poses challenges for the MC. They arrive at Baron Balaric's castle in the evening, and the Baron personally greets the investigators, providing brief information about his missing nephew, the landlord. The nephew, a baronet without a family, is the only known information. After sharing this, the Baron's butler discreetly informs him about the Baron's son, leading the Baron to excuse himself from the conversation. The butler apologizes on behalf of the Baron and informs the group that the young master is unwell. Ivy reassures the butler and states that they have gathered all the necessary details and will be leaving soon. Once outside the castle, Ivy tells the MC that the Baron appeared calm despite his nephew's disappearance, raising suspicions. She asks if that is why the MC insisted on immediate departure. The MC confirms and mentions other aspects that seem suspicious, such as the butler's reaction when they declined the offer to stay the night and leave for the village the next day. The butler seemed disappointed, and everyone appeared anxious, displaying unusual behavior. After their discussion, Ivy decides they will depart for the village immediately, and they head to their carriage. While discussing their plans during the journey, the MC notices a sudden shaking of his mana, which intensifies as they approach the village. Perplexed, he wonders what is happening. The group is startled by the carriage's sudden increase in speed. Christopher looks out the window to inquire about the coach's actions, and sees the coach beating the horse and behaving erratically. Ivy promptly kicks open the carriage door, noticing that they are headed straight for the village gates. She warns the group to brace themselves, and they crash into the gates, wrecking the carriage in the village streets. After assessing their situation, they notice the villagers dancing like madmen in the streets. Christopher asks the MC, as a mage, what is happening. In that moment, the MC realizes that the anomaly in his mana and its reaction can only mean one thing: black magic. The group captures a young boy who has also been dancing and observes his worn-out feet from dancing all day. They deduce that it is likely a curse. Furthermore, considering the missing landlord and the villagers dancing for over a month without dying, the MC suggests that someone is taking care of them to prevent death. He speculates that Andreas probably survived the event and altered the timeline by refusing the butler's offer to rest at the castle. If they had stayed, the Baron would have covered up the incident. The MC also notes that the mana he senses matches Karen's scale, implying that the culprit may possess an artifact. The MC suggests to the group that they should start by searching the landlord's house since they have very few clues at the moment. Upon arriving at the estate, they witness corpses being set on fire in front of the house. Ivy swiftly kicks down the estate doors, revealing numerous corpses scattered in the hallway, including one wearing an investigator uniform. Based on their observations, the MC deduces that solving the case alone would be challenging. He explains that he believes the culprit is a black mage, considering how it feels like someone is amplifying the emotions of the people and converting them into magic power, as black magic thrives on human emotions. Ivy suggests that the landlord was likely killed because he would have opposed the dark mage. Christopher asks if the burning bodies outside were part of a black magic ritual, to which the MC acknowledges it as a possibility. Ivy determines that capturing the culprit will eventually reveal the truth and orders the group to thoroughly search every part of the estate. While investigating the mansion, they find no significant leads or even the landlord's corpse. During their discussion, Vivian alerts the group to villagers gathering outside the window. The MC realizes it is likely a trap, as they seem to be waiting for the group to enter the estate. Ivy instructs Hazar to find an exit, but he is soon halted by a group of deranged villagers. Hazar informs the others that the mob has already reached the second floor, and when he tries to return, he is captured. Just as it seems he is about to be killed, Christopher intervenes, pushing the villagers aside and urging Hazar to protect the mage while he handles the front. However, the villagers explode, sending Christopher flying to the ground. Witnessing this triggers a flashback for the MC, reminding him of his last mission as a Special Forces member. Overwhelmed, he collapses. When he regains consciousness, he finds Ivy trying to wake him up. She quickly commands Vivian to break the window, and the group retreats. Ivy carries the MC while Hazar carries Christopher, and they escape with the villagers in pursuit. To slow down the pursuers, the MC uses a spell of grease and an earth shield. Ivy instructs him to conserve his mana and focus on locating the Black Mage. With concentration, the MC manages to track the Black Mage's location and promptly informs Ivy, who rushes ahead, leaving the others behind due to their inability to keep up with her speed. Upon reaching Ivy's location, she kicks down a door, only for a magic wall to form, trapping them inside. To Ivy's surprise, the person inside turns out to be the MC's sister. Meanwhile, the MC attempts to break the wall but realizes it is beyond his power. While doing so, he hears a voice saying, "How pitiful, just like a moth to a flame." He looks up and notices a magic aura enveloping the village, with the voice continuing, "There's no rush. Everything was ordained by God. Kneel in the name of Sloth." The mention of sloth surprises the MC, recalling that in the game, Great Sin, one of the most important items, the Codex Apocalypse, involves finding the 7 deadly sins separated from the main body. He wonders why sloth is being mentioned in the countryside, a location unrelated to the main story. The MC is suddenly attacked by the villagers and decides that reuniting with his group takes priority. Upon finding his comrades, the MC witnesses Vivian ruthlessly killing the villagers. He asks Hazar what is happening, and Hazar replies that he has never seen Vivian behave like this. The MC quickly informs Hazar about Ivy being trapped in a barrier. During their conversation, they hear a voice accusing them of killing innocent civilians and expressing pity for them. The MC deduces it is the voice of the Black Mage, and concludes that Ivy is likely in danger. Hazar decides to go to Ivy's aid while the MC handles the others. The MC expected Hazar's betrayal and wanted to keep his true identity, as a necromancer, hidden. As he watches Vivian fight, he hears the voice of the Black Mage coming from a rooftop. The Black Mage taunts the MC, impressed by his calm demeanor. The MC responds that he was expecting the boss to appear. The Black Mage offers the MC a test, engulfing him in a fog of black haze. The MC realizes his body is being transported to an endless void, disintegrating slowly, and questions what is happening. Suddenly, he finds himself in a battlefield from his original world and wonders if he was dreaming the entire time. He rushes to find his friends, witnessing his friend Shohei severely wounded. As he holds his dying friend and grieves, he notices that the other half of Shohei's body is transforming into Andrea's father, and his reality begins to merge with Andrea's. In the real world, the Black Mage notices a light emitting from the curse he placed on the MC, and the barrier surrounding the area is broken as the MC's hands emerge. The Black Mage asks how the MC escaped the curse of sloth. The MC retorts that the curse is merely a game that stimulates one's own traumas, or the caster's abilities were lacking as the curse was weak. Enraged, the Black Mage conjures a dark spear and hurls it at the MC. Swiftly evading the attack, the MC remarks that such an attack would not work on someone like him, who has received training from the Special Forces. The Black Mage orders the MC to shut up and launches 2 more projectiles, which the MC once again dodges. Observing his surroundings, the MC realizes he can use his necromancy powers as no one is watching, and because he believes that even though the Black Mage is not that powerful, he cannot defeat him without necromancy. The black mage jumps down from the roof and asks the MC who he is. The MC confidently responds that he will show the black mage who he is and creates a ball of blue light around himself. The corpses around the MC rise up, and the system notifies him that he has summoned 9 skeletons, the maximum number he can currently summon with his current strength. The black mage quickly realizes that he is facing a necromancer and asks if the congregation already knows about it. The MC explains that he was sent by the congregation to retrieve the Page of Sloth, hoping it would throw off the dark mage. The black mage scoffs, claiming that mere skeletons won't be able to stop him, and prepares to launch another attack. The skeletons rush towards the black mage, but they are easily destroyed by his power. The MC defends against the attack with his Earth Shield spell and calls upon Nickel. The black mage releases another dark spear, but Nickel emerges from a portal and swiftly cuts it down. The black mage is surprised that a mere skeleton could accomplish that, and starts taking the MC seriously. The black mage then takes out the Page of Sloth, harnessing its power. He declares that the MC will pay with his life for interfering with his plans. He unleashes a spell, conjuring large dark hands that attack the MC and Nickel. The MC narrowly evades the attacks and realizes that the black mage is struggling to control his strength, theorizing that he hasn't fully mastered the power of Sloth yet. The MC orders Nickel to find the black mage's blind spot and strike, but the dark hands quickly destroy Nickel. Frustrated, the MC laments losing Nickel so soon. The black mage taunts that the MC will join him shortly and prepares to attack again. However, Nickel reappears from a portal behind the black mage and cuts him in half. As a result, the curse begins to fade from the village. The MC removes the black mage's mask and discovers that it was actually the Baron's butler. He deduces that the Baron was likely involved in the events as well. The MC takes the Page of Sloth and considers his options, realizing he can't be seen with the item. He decides to store it in the summoning storage and instructs Nickel to take it with him. The MC then turns his attention to the barrier surrounding Vivian, who was also trapped with him. He finds it strange that the barrier is still intact even though the caster is dead. As he examines it, he unintentionally touches the barrier and is sucked into it. Inside the dream, the MC finds himself sitting beside a young Vivian who is scared of a possessed chair. The MC asks if she is the young Vivian. Since he is invisible to her, Vivian screams that the chair is talking. The MC reveals himself as a fairy to avoid scaring her, and tells her that he has come to rescue her. He reflects on what he has experienced in the dream, including seeing Vivian being slapped by a noblewoman who turns out to be Count Belkin's second wife. The Belkin household is renowned for their swordsmanship, and since Vivian's mother didn't give birth to a male heir, she grew to despise Vivian. Vivian faced loneliness and mistreatment, which ultimately led to her descent into insanity. In her 5th year at the academy, she began killing teachers and students on her own. In the present time, the MC realizes he cannot erase her past but is determined to support her in overcoming it. The young Vivian tearfully asks the MC if he truly came to help her. The MC asks why she is crying, and she replies that no one has ever tried to help her before. The MC assures her that she has a special talent unrecognized by others, particularly in swordsmanship. Vivian expresses doubt since she hasn't even touched a sword yet. The MC asks her to trust him as a fairy and promises to stay by her side, on the condition that she keeps their connection a secret. Vivian promises, and the scene transitions to the MC supporting her throughout her struggles. He comforts her when she is scolded, helps her with combat training, and a month passes in the dream world. Vivian searches for the MC and reaches their promised meeting place, asking if he will train her again. The MC advises her, and they commence their training. The MC notes how well Vivian's exceptional combat talent synchronizes with his guidance, praising her as a genius and prodigy in his mind. After their training session, the MC commends Vivian's swordsmanship but senses that something is troubling her. He asks what is wrong, and Vivian shares her frustration that, despite receiving praise from her teachers, the fairy, MC, doesn't reveal himself to her. The MC explains that, as a fairy, he cannot do so. Vivian wonders if it's because she is a bad child and questions the point of trying if her efforts are futile. In the midst of their conversation, Vivian's father, Count Belkan, suddenly appears and expresses surprise at Vivian's skills. He asks her to demonstrate her swordsmanship once again before leaving. Vivian tells the fairy that it was the first time her father praised her, questioning why she would dream such a thing. She realizes it is time to wake up but states that she has found a path to move forward and believes she should not remain stuck in the past. Vivian feels a hand reaching out to hers, and the MC makes a pinky promise with her, reminding her to keep their promise. Vivian reassures him and promises to uphold their agreement. The barrier finally breaks, showing the two of them making a pinky promise in the real world. After some time, Vivian wakes up, and Ivy reunites with them after breaking through the barrier on her own. The MC briefs them on the situation, and when Ivy learns that the Baron is involved, she orders the MC to decapitate the butler, and insists they head to the Baron's castle immediately. When they arrive, the guards try to stop them, but Ivy knocks down one of the guards and announces herself as Ivy Clare, the assistant professor of Rodlen Academy's night facility. She declares that anyone defending Baron Ballaric is guilty of treason and will be executed. She presents the head of the butler as evidence of his responsibility for the village incident, and instructs the guards to take them to the Baron. Inside the room where the Baron resides, Ivy once again kicks down the door. They are all shocked by what they see, the Baron sitting beside a monstrous-looking being, revealed to be his son, Edel. The Baron calmly explains that Edel should have died of illness months ago, but a robed man offered a way to keep his son alive, even if it meant leaving him in this miserable state. The Baron looks at his son and asks for forgiveness. Ivy approaches the Baron, grabs him by his shirt, and tells him that those words should have been said to the people he and the butler have harmed, and then forcefully throws the Baron to the floor. She then ordered the guards to call the investigation team and not stand around. In that moment, the MC picked up a stone and muttered a spell called Rock Spear. He threw the stone towards Edel, instantly killing him. His father rushed to his son's side and broke down. Ivy questioned why the MC did that, and he explained that a creature born of black magic should be dealt with immediately before it makes any sudden moves. He also stated that any important information would likely be in the Baron's possession. The Baron was subsequently arrested. Upon their return to the academy, the MC and Vivian were called in to give their testimony. Once finished, they were both released. As they left, the MC reflected that Baron Ballaric would face severe punishment for his involvement with black magic. However, the MC also acknowledged that he should be grateful to the Baron since, had he not killed his son, the MC would have endured the horrors of being experimented on by insane wizards. As they discussed this, Vivian suddenly realized that the MC must have understood everything. Startled by her words, the MC denied knowing what she was talking about, including her reference to him as a fairy. Vivian insisted that he sounded just like him. While they were engaged in conversation, Lucia rushed toward the MC, calling his name. She asked if he was done with his business, and he confirmed that the hearing was over. Lucia then showed him her tablet displaying news about the MC's adventures, informing him that he was now famous. However, he was not pleased by the news. Lucia exclaimed that she had heard about his reward and suggested that he treat her to dinner. The MC explained that the money would be divided among them. Lucia then noticed Vivian standing beside the MC and asked if she was the person seen with him in the news. The MC introduced the two to each other. After their introduction, Lucia once again requested that the MC use the reward money to take her out for dinner to celebrate their successful potion production. The MC replied that the verdict was not yet out and that they could have dinner another time. Lucia reluctantly gave up and prepared to part ways with the MC, informing him that she would see him at the Magic Tower the next day. The MC warned her not to be late. The next day, the MC rushed to the tower while carrying the still sleepy Lucia, who had overslept. He was forced to carry her to the tower, barely making it in time. They entered the magic tower and began climbing its ever-changing stairs. While they were walking, Lucia asked the MC about the senior she had met the day before and inquired about their relationship. The MC replied that there was nothing in particular, but Lucia was unsatisfied with the answer. She then shifted the conversation back to asking the MC to take her out for dinner. As they chatted, they heard a familiar voice remarking that the two of them didn't seem nervous at all. In an instant, the speaker appeared between them, holding both of their shoulders. They realized it was Bart Alvin, the owner of the Rodland Magic Tower. Bart turned his attention to the MC, stating that his son had the same unchanging stupid face. Although it was a common insult for the MC, it irritated him. Bart then focused on Lucia and presumed that she was the daughter of Viscount Hollington, which Lucia confirmed. He advised her that to be remembered, she needed a reputation to match. Bart announced that he would be in charge of guiding both of them from that point forward. He instructed them to stand back and cast a spell that teleported them to the examination room, startling the people present who were examining the potion. Bart inquired if the potion examination was complete, and they confirmed that it was. All that remained was to ask about the production method. Bart examined the potion and proceeded to drink it. After drinking, he started listing the ingredients and asked Lucia if he had mentioned them correctly. Lucia pointed out that he had omitted 2 ingredients, hung pishi and matarata root bark. Bart approached Lucia, glancing at her, and expressed surprise at her ability to create such a potion at her age, finding it interesting. He then teleported once again, this time appearing beside the creature accompanying him. He asked why Cromwell's son was present, stating that, on paper, it was reported as a joint effort. He questioned whether the MC had merely been carried through the process. This comment greatly upset the MC. Lucia quickly defended him, stating that she couldn't have made the potion without the MC's help and emphasizing that he did most of the work, while she assisted. Bart remained skeptical of the MC and announced that he would verify it himself. He teleported them to another room, which appeared to be a potion brewing facility, and challenged the MC to recreate the potion using the ingredients found in the room. The MC quickly got to work and completed the potion within 5 minutes. After testing the potion, Bart acknowledged that the MC had created it correctly, and inquired about the use of hung pishi. Everyone in the room, including Lucia, was eager to know the answer. The MC explained that he used it to eliminate the side effects and improve the potion's efficiency. This response shocked everyone in the room, impressing Lucia with how well the MC explained it. Bart removed the cloth covering his eyes and closely examined the MC, stating that even though they hadn't seen each other for a long time, the MC couldn't have made something like this. He asked who the MC really was. With a smirk on his face, the MC paused for a second and confidently replied that he was Andreas Cromwell, the same person Bart used to treat like a bug and mock all the time. Bart was taken aback and remarked that the MC had become quite an interesting individual. He proposed a bet to the MC. If the MC could discover another medicine by the end of the year, Bart would pay off all of the Cromwell family's debts and grant the MC one wish. However, if the MC failed, he would have to leave the academy. Considering his status as the Cromwell family heir, the MC couldn't possibly refuse such an offer. Bart smiled and expressed his hope that the MC would produce results, given his apparent confidence. As he said this, Bart was startled as he felt like he had caught a glimpse of the MC's father, and began experiencing flashbacks of him and the MC's father, seemingly as good friends in the past. Meanwhile, in the secret underground room, the vampire Angela had completed her evolution. She stood up, destroying the cell and chains that had held her, reveling in her newfound power. She thought about Andreas and a smile formed on her face. After completing the potion examination, the MC headed back, taking a train. During the journey, he contemplated what to do with the Page of Sloth. No matter how much he thought about it, he couldn't find a way that would benefit him. He concluded that he should probably exchange it for something he needed and realized that his teacher, Sharon, was the only option he had. He got off the train and made his way to Karen's mansion. On the way, the MC felt like someone was watching him but dismissed it as his imagination. He entered Karen's estate, and the two of them sat down to chat. Sharon mentioned that the MC had become the hot topic at the academy, and asked if the potion the MC brought was the one he discovered. The MC confirmed and explained that he came to report to Sharon right after the final examination. Sharon remarked that the MC had been experimenting in secret without his knowledge and was now acting like a true disciple. The MC attempted to explain himself, but Sharon silenced him and asked him to come along. Sharon pushed one of the books in the room, revealing a secret portal. Both of them entered the secret underground room. While making their way to Karen's room, the MC observed that Sharon seemed to be in a bad mood and decided not to bring up the topic of the Page of Sloth that day. When they entered the room, they were shocked to find it in ruins. They discovered that the cell housing the vampire, Angela, had been destroyed, and she had escaped. Sharon was furious and demanded to know if the MC had anything to do with Angela's restraints being compromised. The MC quickly denied any involvement, stating that he was too scared to even approach the vampire. Sharon erupted in anger, screaming furiously. After a while, the MC left Karen's estate and headed toward his dorm. Along the way, he heard Angela calling his name and suddenly felt her hand gripping his chin. He saw Angela's hand hanging from a tree. Angela explained that she had something to ask him ever since she woke up and requested that he look at her. When the MC complied, she asked him to tell her about the power she had obtained. The MC reminded Angela that she had promised not to kill him after escaping and warned her about the consequences of breaking an oath made on her family name. Angela acknowledged that she understood the consequences, but explained that she couldn't break free from the restraints with her own strength. She used an alternative method and asked the MC if he wanted to know how she did it. As she considered the MC's scent, which reminded her of one of the great sins, Angela seemed to realize something. In a split second, she grabbed the MC's throat and slammed him against a tree. Angela informed him that this location was too noticeable and that they would meet again soon. She assured him not to worry, as he might be her fated partner. The next day, Diane and her friend sat on a balcony, with Diane enthusiastically sharing a story about knights. Her friend begged her to stop preaching for a moment. They continued their conversation, and Diane's friend mentioned that Lucia Everlast had passed the Magic Tower potion examination. Diane expressed amazement at Lucia's achievement for her age. She recalled hearing that Lucia was always lazy but now realized she was the real deal. Diane's friend then shared a surprising article on her tablet, showing Andrea standing beside Lucia. She found it hard to believe that someone as untalented as the MC could have helped create the potion. Diane contemplated how the MC had blamed his circumstances and lack of talent after his family's downfall, wondering if he had truly changed. She concluded that she would have to confirm it for herself. In the potion class, the MC was seen wearing multiple layers of clothing. Lucia asked him about it, and he replied that he was not feeling well. In truth, the MC had to conceal the scar on his neck caused by Angela's bite the previous night before she disappeared. Lucia questioned why he was in class and advised him to rest instead. The MC explained that he needed to attend class in order to graduate. The professor entered the class and noticed the MC, considering the accomplishments he had achieved. The professor called out to the MC, inquiring about the excessive clothing. The MC claimed to have caught a cold, and the professor remarked that he seemed tired from his potion research. The professor assured the MC that he had already marked him as present, and suggested he could leave if he wished. The MC expressed gratitude and prepared to leave. The professor commented that the MC didn't ask a professor of medical botany for advice and wondered if he could at least mention his name in the findings, if it wasn't too much trouble. Disgusted by the professor's request, as he hadn't contributed anything but still wanted credit, the MC sarcastically thanked the professor for his advice, particularly regarding the Hong Pishi extract and Madarata bark trees. The MC pointed out that the professor had suggested making soup with them, but as they could see, the potion turned out to be exceptional. Enraged by this response, the professor accused the MC of overstepping his boundaries. The MC retorted that he was feeling unwell, which caused the professor to shout the MC's name in anger. As he was about to leave the room, the MC thought about how these people used to mock him when he was considered insignificant but tried to be friendly once they realized his capabilities. At that moment, Lucia stood up and called for the professor. She asked if she could explain why they hadn't taken his advice on behalf of the MC, as she was the co-creator of the potion. Lucia asserted that they had learned the basics of potion brewing in the class and put them into practice. She concluded that doing their own research without relying on others was their duty as magicians. Lucia asked the professor if her statement was true, to which he nervously replied that it was. She stated that they would seek his advice in the future if he wasn't occupied with his own research. The professor nervously agreed, turning toward the MC and advising him to take care and return safely. The MC reflected on how Lucia had skillfully de-escalated the situation and felt grateful, even though he wasn't sure why she had done it. The scene shifted to Sinclair Cloche, an Ore Master Duke, who was receiving a report from his secretary about potential candidates to scout from Rodland Academy. The report mentioned that the daughter of the Everlast Company had created a new type of potion that was soon to be available commercially. Sinclair's assistant confirmed the information, stating that they were calling it the Everlast Potion and had a monopoly on its sales. Sinclair remarked that if she had already achieved this as a first-year student, many people would try to recruit her upon graduation. The assistant suggested they establish a connection with her immediately. Sinclair instructed her to also investigate if anyone else was eyeing her while they tested the potion. The assistant mentioned another noteworthy detail. The report indicated that the potion was co-created with Andreas Cromwell. Sinclair noticed Andrea's name and wondered if he had a talent for potion making from the beginning. The assistant added that there was a rumor circulating that Andreas had taken advantage of Lucia, but they couldn't fathom why she would include his name as a co-creator. Sinclair concluded that they should investigate further and, if Andreas indeed possessed talent, consider adding him to the scouting list. On the following day, the MC visited Alvin Street in Rodland Academy to purchase a sword from the blacksmith. The MC believed that Sharon, who considered everything the MC owned to be his, might try to forcefully take the page of sloth. Buying a new sword was a precautionary measure for self-defense. While in the process of purchasing a sword, the MC heard his name being called and turned to see Diane. She asked why he was at the blacksmith, and the MC explained that he needed a sword for protection, despite being a mage. Diane showed the MC a gift she had prepared for her brother, and the MC assumed it was for her older brother, Carlos. Memories of their childhood flooded the MC's mind, and he reminisced about their closeness. The MC asked Diane if Carlos would be participating in the end-of-year event, expressing a desire for the three of them to meet again. Diane was taken aback by this statement, and contemplated all the things she had heard about the MC while researching him. She wondered if he had truly changed but couldn't find the right way to ask. Startled by her strange expression, the MC bid Diane goodbye and left before she could ask him anything. Back at the academy, the MC met up with Sharon, who mentioned searching the entire continent for someone with the same quality as Angela but had been unsuccessful so far. Nevertheless, Sharon intended to continue searching as he needed it for the congregation that weekend, even though his hopes were not high. Sharon informed the MC to prepare for a busy schedule ahead. Seizing the opportunity, the MC revealed that he possessed the Page of Sloth. Sharon was initially taken aback but quickly composed himself, dismissing the MC's claim as a foolish statement and implying that it was something the MC couldn't handle. Undeterred, the MC pulled the item from his inventory and offered it to Sharon. Sharon pondered the situation and then told the MC to keep it, suggesting they find a replacement during the congregation. The MC expected this outcome, knowing that Sharon would prioritize his own life. Sharon then informed the MC about their plans for the congregation that weekend, advising him to clear his schedule. The MC acknowledged his understanding. On the weekend, at the Forest of Captivity in the eastern edge of the city's confinement zone, the MC and Sharon traveled to the congregation in a chariot. During the journey, the MC noticed Karen's excitement and overheard him talking to himself about trading the page of sloth for items that would help him grow. Sharon expressed a willingness to take anything he could get for it, and the MC realized that Sharon was already convinced the page of sloth belonged to him, and would use the MC as a shield if necessary. While contemplating this, their chariot suddenly came to a halt. They discovered a man standing in front of their horse, calming them down. The man approached their window and asked if he could join them since they were heading to the congregation. He then entered the chariot, and the MC recognized him as Salem Edida, one of the continent's greatest 10. Salem was known as the devil in pursuit of the truth, for his willingness to explore forbidden territories. Salem noticed the MC and Karen's discomfort with his presence, and angrily questioned if they were dissatisfied. The MC quickly reassured him, addressing him as Sir Salem. Salem's mood swiftly changed, and he assured the MC not to worry about attending the congregation, mentioning that he had gone there several times himself. Salem asked the MC for his name, and Sharon urged the MC to introduce himself to his senior. The MC revealed his name as Andreas Cromwell, which shocked Salem. Salem remarked that it seemed Sharon had acquired another Cromwell, leaving the MC surprised and curious about the Cromwell family's secret that he wasn't aware of. Salem noted that the MC seemed to know nothing and decided to give him a piece of special advice: to struggle as much as possible. The MC wanted to ask Sharon about Salem's statement, but noticed a look on Karen's face that discouraged him from doing so, leaving the MC pondering what Sharon was hiding. As they continued their journey, a black swamp-like substance began to form on the ground. Sharon quickly noticed and halted the chariot. He called out to someone named Dragon and asked him to speak in person. The swamp transformed into the shape of a person, revealing a burly man wearing a coat and hat. The man's face shifted from happiness to nervousness upon seeing Salem with them. They exited the carriage and began walking toward the congregation. The MC speculated that Dragon might be there to steal the page of sloth but hadn't expected Salem to be accompanying them. Sharon pointed out a dark treehouse-like structure and mentioned that Sir Morshi had noticed their arrival and was showing them the path to the congregation. Salem observed something and stated that it was just as he had expected. He grabbed his staff, declaring that there were some greedy black mages present, and cast a tracking spell by slamming his staff to the ground. A burst of light spread out, causing everyone nearby to have a glowing energy ball on their chests. After confirming the location of the black mages who were attempting to ambush them, Salem declared that the game of hide and seek was over. He released a powerful green energy mass, causing a massive explosion. The scene shifts to a room where several individuals are waiting at a round table. The MC and their group enter the room, followed by Salem, who greets Morshi. Salem attributes the safekeeping of the page of sloth to himself, and asks the MC to open the bag they were carrying. The MC reveals the heads of the black mages who had tried to ambush them. The others in the room are shocked by this gruesome sight, and Morshi tells Salem that unnecessary killings were not required. Salem argues that without him, they wouldn't have stood a chance of even glimpsing the page of sloth. Morshi suggests they stop the small talk and urges them to show him the page of sloth. The MC, receiving confirmation from Sharon, opens a portal. While the MC is doing this, Salem contemplates the MC's lack of reaction to the massacre, and their unwavering obedience when he ordered him to decapitate the black mages. Salem also realizes that the MC, like him, is a dual-core user. Suddenly, Salem blows on the MC's neck, startling him. The MC demands to know what Salem is doing. Salem explains that he has taken a liking to the MC, much to the shock and confusion of the other congregation members. Salem mentions the MC's affinity with the Cromwell family and promises to help him once, considering it a favor. Startled by this revelation, the MC acknowledges that Salem never breaks his promises and ponders adjusting their plans to take advantage of his assistance. The MC opens a portal, and Nickel emerges, holding the Page of Sloth. The others confirm that it is indeed the genuine diligent sloth. Salem asks the MC about the skeleton's durability since they entrusted the page to it. The MC realizes they must remain calm and not hesitate in the presence of these formidable individuals. They command Nickel to return to their mind and swiftly draw their sword, pressing it against their own heart. The others are surprised and ask what the MC is doing. The MC proclaims himself as the one who found the Page of Sloth and insists that their efforts be appropriately recognized. The congregation members plan to attack the MC, but the MC calls out to Morshi, informing him that the Page of Sloth is in their storage along with the skeleton. They warn that if they die, the congregation will never obtain the codex. The MC then appeals to Salem, reminding him of his promise to help. They urge Salem to act quickly, as time is running out. Salem questions the MC, asking if their reckless actions were all due to something he said. He wonders what the MC would have done if he had actually deceived him. The MC replies that they would have done their best, even if it meant sacrificing their life. Salem remarks that the MC is a funny person and declares that he has no choice but to kill everyone if the MC insists. He proclaims that anyone who dares to touch Cromwell in the future will be hunted down and killed. Once the others realize Salem's seriousness, they back down, and Morshi asks the MC what he wants. The situation calms down slightly, and the MC releases the sword he had placed on their heart and begins to heal himself. He inquires about what he can obtain in exchange for the Page of Sloth. Morshi laments that the MC doesn't even know what he desires and conjures a scroll, revealing a list of items and corpses. Morshi instructs the MC to choose 5 from the list and advises him to choose carefully, noting that there are corpses available as well. As the MC examines the list, he noticed the former Fairy Queen Mylene and the Tiger King Timer among the options. He considers selecting them but are informed by one of the congregation members that those corpses have already been sold to Morn. Upon hearing Morn's name, the MC quickly realizes that he must relinquish their claim to the corpses, knowing it would be problematic to interfere with Morn. However, a voice is heard stating that he doesn't mind, and everyone recognizes it as Morn's voice. They discover Morn in the form of a bug. Sharon addresses Morn as his master and mentions that Andreas isn't capable of handling those corpses yet. Morn reiterates once again that he doesn't mind and informs the MC that the corpses are in their subspace bag, and tells him to take the entire bag. The MC is surprised by Morn's generosity and wonders about the reason behind it but decides not to let this opportunity slip away. The MC bow his head and express gratitude to Morn, stating their intention to choose the remaining items, including the corpses. On the sidelines, Sharon becomes furious, realizing that he should have bought the Page of Sloth by himself. The MC selects the items: Moon's Blessings, Blue Canangula's Flowers, Fairy Tears, Yobin's Roots, and Kidanan's Jewel, along with the corpses. Salem questions the MC's choices, mentioning that there are better items available. The MC explains that these items hold great value for him, acknowledging their potential for creating 4 potions and noting that they are worth a significant amount of money. He also notes that he had inadvertently chosen the ingredients for Lucia's cure. After the transaction is complete, Morshi requests the Page of Sloth, and as the MC hands it over, Salem secretly instructs the MC to prepare to leave. As soon as the transaction concludes, Salem swiftly grabs the MC and flies them out of the meeting room, with the congregation members shouting to pursue them. The MC asks Salem if they plan to get rid of him after he handed over the Page of Sloth, to which Salem confirms. He states that a promise is a promise and assures the MC that he will take him to a safe place. Salem inquires where the MC would like to go, and the MC replies that he wants to return to the academy. He asks Salem to take him to the nearest train station. Salem confirms if the academy is Rodland, and the MC confirms it. Salem then asks if Bart knows that the MC is a black mage, to which the MC replies that if Bart did, he wouldn't be alive. Salem remarks that fate is a curious thing and assures the MC that he will figure everything out in due time. Perplexed, the MC asks what Salem is referring to. Salem reiterates his previous advice for the MC to keep struggling and survive, as eventually he will discover his true identity. The MC returns to their room and begins unpacking the new items he received. He realizes he have no choice but to use Nickel as a skeleton, but for the two other items, it would be better to increase his necromancy level and turn them into high-level summons. He stored both items in their special inventory for now. After finishing, the MC notices a book in the subspace bag given by Morn. He learned from the system notification that it is Morn's Black Magic Tome, a high-level skill book personally written by Morn. Excited about the gift, the MC opens the book and finds it contains knowledge he couldn't acquire from Karen's library. He wonders if studying it will enable him to turn corpses into high-level summons. The system then alerts the MC to something else, and when he checks, it's a notification about Nickel's ability to evolve with a probability of 100%. The MC quickly agrees to it, realizing the high chances, and notices that Nickel doesn't seem to be in pain like the vampire did during evolution. He wonders if the presence of the Codex with Nickel has something to do with this sudden evolution notice. While pondering this, there's a knock on the door. The MC instructs Nickel to return and answers the door, finding Lucia standing there, asking if they have a moment. In a dimly lit room, Morn and Salem are engaged in a meeting. Salem asks Morn if he provided the information about the Page of Sloth because he wanted someone to protect Andreas. When Morn remains silent, Salem suggests that his assumption is likely true. He adds that Morn took care of Cain and now his son, and mentions how Cain was forced upon Morn by the Empire, making it difficult for him to teach Cain due to his lack of talent. Suddenly, Morn asks Salem if he knows the origins of necromancy. Salem questions the sudden question, and Morn explains that necromancy is the pursuit of immortality, specifically for those you love. He describes it as the obsession to keep loved ones with you forever. Salem dismisses it as an old man's tale and remarks that it appears Morn has another connection with the Cromwell family. He states that even if Morn were to force him, he wouldn't reveal anything, so he's giving up on asking. Morn then asks Salem for his thoughts on Andreas, to which Salem replies that the MC is destined to become the most insane person in the world, even crazier than Salem himself, and he looks forward to it. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching our video. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for part 2. Normies out.